2552, the Covenant have destroyed much of the inner colonies. Mankind faces imminent extinction. In a desperate move, a secret UNSC task force is assembled to capture a Covenant ship. The task force is led by Master Chief John 117, on board a specially outfitted ship known as the Pillar of Autumn.
He is the best leader. I think he has the best strategic and tactical vision of any of the Spartans. He knows how to put a group together and use them better than almost anyone.
The aliens from the Covenant describe him as a demon, and he really has this kind of Greek mythology type feel about him. You know, all the Marines and the ODST drop soldiers are all kind of in awe of him and what he is, and he's also sort of the last of his kind.
The UNSC plan, however, is ruined when the Covenant launch a surprise attack on the fortress world of Reach. During the ensuing battle, Reach is overrun and the human fleet destroyed. Believing that all other Spartans have been killed on the surface of the planet, the Master Chief escapes with the Pillar of Autumn. The ship makes a blind slip space jump and emerges near a mysterious ring world, the superstructure known as Halo. And this is where the Halo saga begins. Cortana, the artificial intelligence found within the Master Chief's Mjolnir armor, was created from the cloned brain of Spartan 2 project designer Dr. Catherine Halsey.
Cortana is what's called a smart AI, as opposed to a dumb AI. In the early UNSC, they had dumb AIs that were experts in their field. Tactical urban combat or spaceship flight. A smart AI is a different beast entirely. They have a limited lifespan of about 7 years. But they're brilliant. They're far more brilliant than any other standard AI, and hundreds of times more brilliant and creative than any human mind at the height of their powers. But literally, they grow so large and intricate, and all the interconnections within the neural AI matrix, they literally think themselves into oblivion with too many connections, too much power. And there has been speculation that towards the end of that cycle, they may even go insane.
The Halo structure where the Master Chief lands is vast. It has its own atmosphere and it can support life. The Covenant believes that the 7 Halo rings, which were previously undiscovered, mark the start of the Forerunners' great journey, their ascent into godhood. During the Master Chief's time on Halo, however, the long-dormant Flood is inadvertently released from a containment facility. An eccentric AI named 343 Guilty Spark identifies Master Chief as a reclaimer, someone capable of activating the ring's weapon system in order to destroy the Flood. Guilty Spark also reveals the terrifying truth behind Halo, Installation 04 as he calls it. These rings are actually doomsday weapons, designed by the Forerunners to destroy the Flood.
It is a weapon, and it's used to generate this horrific pulse of energy that goes at a speed faster than light throughout the galaxy and kills sentient life of a certain threshold, designed initially to deprive the Flood of its food source.
Long ago, in a last-ditch effort to stop the Flood, the Foreigners activated the Halo Array. The release of the alien parasite on Halo by the Covenant later required to be activated once again, an act which can only stop the Flood outbreak by wiping out all sentient life and starving the parasite of its essential food source. The Master Chief averts a galactic holocaust by detonating the fusion reactors on the crippled Pillar of Autumn and destroying the Halo installation, the Flood parasite, and an entire Covenant armada. Following his defeat at Halo Installation 04, Supreme Commander within the Covenant, an elite known as Thel 'Vadame, is stripped of his high rank, publicly tortured, and sentenced to death by his own High Council. But the Prophet of Truth overrules the Council, giving Thel the chance to redeem his honor by becoming an Arbiter, an ancient tradition in which disgraced elites embark on suicide missions. Meanwhile, the Covenant locate Earth, but due to a miscommunication, an attack force led by the Prophet of Regret is defeated in a brief but violent battle. The Prophet of Regret manages to escape through slipspace to Halo Installation 05, which his forces eventually activate. The Master Chief is able to follow the Covenant ship through slipspace with UNSC forces. There, they prevent the Halo ring from firing and kill the Prophet of Regret. This act once again prevents galactic destruction at the hands of Halo, but not without cost. The ring's activation has put all remaining installations on standby, ready to be fired from a location known as the Ark. Throughout the Covenant Alliance, word spreads about the true purpose of the Halo Array. and the link between mankind and the Forerunners. The Prophet of Truth uses Regret's death as an excuse to reorder Covenant society, forcing out the elites and bringing in the more loyal and controllable brutes. They launch a genocidal campaign against the elites, sparking a civil war. Surprising alliances develop. The elites, led by the Arbiter, ally with their former enemies, the humans. Even the Flood, embodied as the centralized intelligence known as the Gravemind, allies with the Master Chief and the Arbiter to prevent the Halo Array from firing. These disparate species join together to thwart a common enemy before dealing with each other. The Covenant, led by the Prophet of Truth, throws its full might into an invasion of Earth. They are entirely focused on securing an enormous Forerunner structure recently unearthed beneath the sands of Africa. Earth's forces are decimated, their fleet almost completely destroyed. The entire human population is reduced to a mere 200 million people. With the return of Master Chief, the UNSC mounts a last-ditch assault at the heart of the excavated Forerunner relic, which is soon revealed to be an ancient space portal. This gateway leads to the Ark, the failsafe installation hidden outside the Milky Way galaxy. The Prophet of Truth and the remainder of the Covenant manage to escape using this portal. Amid the chaos, a flood-infected ship crashes on Earth and causes a mass outbreak. But with help from elite separatists, the parasite menace is contained. Cortana, who has been captured by the Flood's Gravemind, leaves a message for the Master Chief. A plan for stopping the Flood is at the other end of the portal. The UNSC and elite forces send a small fleet through the Forerunner portal. Once through, they learn that the Ark is maintained and protected by a variety of AI systems. These also serve as a data bank, housing information on what the Forerunners faced when they activated the Halo Array long ago. The facility also has the ability to build brand new Halo installations, and it has nearly completed construction of the replacement for Installation 04, the one which Master Chief destroyed several months earlier. The Ark becomes the site of the final showdown between the UNSC and Elite Alliance and the remnants of the Covenant, led by the Prophet of Truth. Against all odds, mankind prevails, defeating the Covenant, killing the Prophet of Truth, and destroying the Flood. A formal peace agreement is forged between humanity and the elites. Whatever remained of the Covenant is seemingly disbanded. Months later, in 2553, a monument is erected on a hillside near the Ark portal. It commemorates the billions of men and women killed during the war, and among them, Master Chief. The Arbiter attends this ceremony in honor of his fallen comrade. But is this war truly over?